Today we have the ATA SP Avantgarde. It looks fancy, but is it any good? Let's find out. Hello and welcome back to R8 Guns. Today we've got with us the ATA SP Avantgarde. So I've shot a few of these ATAs before, and to be honest, they're not bad guns. What I hear the most is they are 680 action Berettas, simply made in Turkey. This isn't the case. They appear to be, they resemble them a little bit, but they are definitely not Berettas simply made in Turkey. And anyone who thinks they're getting a Beretta for a third of the cost is kidding themselves a little bit. That said though, they're not bad guns, and I think they're exceptional value for money. Specifically though, the Avantgarde model which we've got here, this is double the money of the basic level SP. And as far as I can tell, it contains all the same internals, but you are getting perhaps better wood, definitely better engraving. So, you know, the question for today is this really worth £650 more than the basic SP model? Before we go any further, we've got to thank the guys over at Shooting Sports UK, one for supplying this gun we've got on test today, and for their ongoing support of the channel. Right, let's get on the bench and see what it's made of. So this is the Avantgarde White. It's also available in a black action as well, and as far as the SP line goes, it's available in a big long list of configurations if you'd like something a little bit different. In terms of options, you can get this gun with 24, 26, 28 or 30-inch barrels. There's also a left-handed version available as well. It weighs in at 3.4 kilos, which is about average for a sporter, and has a 14 3/4 inch length of pull. It comes in a fairly uninspiring cardboard box, but it does come with a pair of socks, so you can put the stock and the barrel in those once it's split down. It balances surprisingly well for a gun at this price point. I mean, that is ½ inch in front of the hinge pin. That's pretty good. Starting at the back, we have a black rubber pad, but why I really like this one, it's got a section at the top here in hard plastic, and what this means is when you're shooting from a gun down position, this is much less likely to get bound up on your vest or clothing to have a nice smooth mount, so that's really nice. The pad to wood fit is quite nice for a gun at this price point. The wood itself is much improved from a lot of the other in the SP line. This one in particular is a decent grade 3 and comes with a nice oil finish. The pistol grip, while it is quite vertical, isn't quite in the realms of trap yet. There is no palm swell unfortunately on this gun, but it does bellow out at the bottom, which helps locate your hand quite well. The checkering is laser etched, and while not being the deepest in the world, it's absolutely good enough. The safety on these is non-automatic, as you'd expect it being a sporter, and when it's in the safe position, it also doubles as the barrel selector as well. It's quite well sized, nice and grippy. You're easily going to put that off and on, no problem. As for the top lever, it is matte black painted. I'm not a fan of this at all, and to be honest, I would much prefer it if it was bare metal, perhaps with a little bit of engraving on there. Now for the engraving on the action. From far away it looks really good, up close it looks okay, but you can tell it's definitely not hand done. It's more cast and perhaps a certain level of hand finishing, but definitely not a lot. The black finish in the lower areas of the engraving isn't quite to my taste, but I can definitely see why it would appeal to quite a lot of people. For me though, the bronze highlights really set it off, and they, you know, really make it shine. Overall, it's not bad engraving, and I would prefer this to some of the laser engraving found on much more expensive guns. The action resembles a Beretta 680, but it is definitely not a 680 action. While it has the same 2-lug closing system, it's definitely not finished to the same standard. But by no means am I saying this is a bad action. The gun is chambered for 3-inch cartridges, so you can use it for all sorts of purposes, hunting and clay shooting as well. The barrels are proofed for steel, but not superior proofed, so go easy on any big 3-inch steel loads. The ejectors are fairly standard, but work absolutely well. As for the fore end, it's a bit of a mismatch of types. It does have a Schnabel end to it, but it's definitely wider here, and it's got these grooves cut out for your fingers to rest in. It's quite deep, quite wide. Not quite for me, but it's definitely not bad. You can remove it as well by pressing this button at the end here. The top and mid ribs are both ventilated. The top rib is 10mm straight with a fibre optic red sight at the end. Now these barrels again are matte black, which I'm not a massive fan of, but if nothing else they will definitely reduce any glare from the sun. This gun also comes with a set of 5 interchangeable chokes. Okay, that's it. Let's get down the clay ground and see how it shoots. So, in my opinion, the £650 extra is definitely money well spent. The superior engraving, the much better grade of wood. For me, yeah, it's value. But I'm sure there'll be people out there who disagree with me, and that's fine. And it really depends what you're going to use it for. These guns are built really good for the money. They look good, the triggers are good, and they're balanced pretty good as well. I think this would make an excellent first gun for someone who perhaps wants to stand out from the crowd, from the the sea of Turkish guns that are out there at the moment, or perhaps someone who's wanting to upgrade from one of those guns. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.